The 2010s decade will be over in 4 months. What do you think people will remember this decade for? I don't like this realization. Gangnam Style and Harambe. Social media. The social media explosion. Social media. Memes. Smartphones. Trump. The meme renaissance. The decade where politics turned into a name-calling shitshow where reason is irrelevant. Brexit, Trump as president, #MeToo, #Black Lives Matter, Leonardo DiCaprio got an Oscar. I think this decade will be remembered for a few big things, at least in the US. Millennials. The name of the game this decade. Millennials were at the center of almost every major cultural conversation. From social media and technology to jobs and the economy. Hipsters and smartphones and gaming systems and trends and Facebook and Instagram, etc., etc. Millennials had the biggest cultural impact of this decade. Obama/Trump. Obama was elected last decade, but most of his term was this decade. He got Bin Laden, passed healthcare, and triggered a whole bunch of people just because he was black. Then Trump really popped up in 2015 for his presidential run. Was it really that long ago? And he's been at the forefront of news ever since. Superhero everything. 20 MCU movies have been released this decade. Then there are the other Spider-Man movies, the DC Universe movies, Nolan's and Snyder's, as well as countless other movies and shows. Last decade was zombies, this decade is superheroes. Real headlines trying to outdo The Onion. I'm just hoping that the 20s will be the resurgence of gangster suits, black fedoras, and saying things like, "I'll punch you into mush, see?" Social media, influencers. Netflix/streaming, it was available before 2010, but didn't get reliable until after. Swipe dating apps, the word online dating and dating sites are now swapped with the phrases dating apps. Obama/Trump. The beginning of automation. A ton of jobs are already automated, but this decade was probably the true beginning, from testing driverless cars and drones to entire service industries being replaced by self-service counters. This will truly be the beginning of automated industries. From a design/aesthetic standpoint. Minimalism/flat design, mostly due to the rise of tablets and browsing the internet on mobile devices. Clean lines, simple colors like black, white and gray. TV commercials, early 2010s ads are backed by upbeat xylophone/triangle/whistling/hand clapping music, or people breakdancing or doing the worm to obnoxious dubstep music. The late 2010s have vivid colors and imagery, vaporwave style aesthetics, and loud over-the-top spokespeople talking fast in the middle of the screen. Think Captain Obvious from the Hotels.com commercials or Terry Crews from the Old Spice commercials. Entering a new golden age of automotive design. Almost every new car from the decade is elaborately styled. Car interiors with angular, intricate dashboards, like the Ford Escape, Chevy Equinox or Hyundai Santa Fe. This might end in the 2020s as crash safety technology requires more new cars to look the same, and car interiors will replace dashboards and gauges with touch screens. Thanks, Tesla. A move away from chain restaurants and the rise of food trucks and locally owned restaurants that all feature string lighting, outdoor tables with giant Jenga blocks, Edison bulbs, and a craft beer selection written on a chalkboard. All houses are painted in that greige color and have all white kitchens with that same white subway tile backsplash. There is probably a barn door, shiplap accent wall, and a fiddle leaf fig inside. The incredible rise of misinformation and irresponsible knee-jerk reaction choices on very serious topics. People are gonna reminisce about how good the 2010s were. They may not seem good now, but just wait to see what the 20s have in store for you. Didn't see it here, so I'll mention it. The Syrian civil war and rise and fall of the Islamic State. Memes and Minecraft. The dress was blue. How are y'all gonna leave out the most influential trend of the 2010s? Fidget spinners. They united us as a nation in a time where our country was divided more than ever. They solved that overnight while boosting our economy to levels unseen since the POG craze of the 90s. Don't ever forget this. The horrific turn the Area 51 raid took, resulting in hundreds dead and the unleashing of angry captive aliens upon the world to exact their revenge on humanity. Shitty Geico and progressive commercials. The promulgation of the internet. The 2010s saw the popularity of smartphones, which has revolutionized many industries. The internet is way more a force now than it was pre-2010. Network TV isn't a thing because of the internet. Brick and mortar stores are dying because of the internet. From a video game standpoint, this is the decade of the indie explosion, esports, battle royales and microtransactions. From a cinematic standpoint, this is the age of superheroes. Comic book movies dominated in the last decade and they are not going anywhere anytime soon. Outrage addiction. Party rock. Minecraft's rise, fall, and rise again. The decade Twitter defined politics. The wild switch from President Obama to President Trump. Say what you want, good or bad, about either of them, but their ways of doing the job are very different in many ways. Edit, thanks for the gold and silver, whoever you are. Depression and memes. But really, I think mental health will be one of the biggest problems going forward, and this is going to be known as the times when it emerged as a problem. The death of traditional media. Printed newspapers and periodicals, broadcast television and radio are fading. And while digital music way predates the 2010s, it took until this decade for pop stars to stop selling albums. They aren't tallying CD sales anymore, they're counting unique streams. Deleted.